Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org, for more info, or you can email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Allen F. Maxwell. We'll be discussing his book, The System Is Unforgiving, Play by the Rules and Win. Available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And Allen was brought to People of Distinction today by some of the best movers in the business. Authors Avenue Publishing. If you have a book that you'd like moved, well, move it through Authors Avenue. You know, guys, I am so excited to have Allen here on the line with us because the book we're going to be discussing today, The System Is Unforgiving, is really, it's a great book with such an amazing message behind it and something that we can all get behind, right? And really the message that we're going to be talking about, the underlying theme, or at least one of them, is understanding that we are in control of our own lives, right? The decisions that we make lay the path for the ground that we walk on, right, guys? And listen, you control your destiny. And I understand that is such a big cliche, but Allen is here to really talk from his personal experience. But this is something that I ultimately, also can attest to, right? Guys, listen, when you stay focused, when you stay consistent, and by no means will it be easy, but when you do those things, that consistency is key and that focus is so important. But once you do those and you stay on your path, the universe just has a funny way of kind of giving you what you want, right? And really helping you achieve what you're asking for. And as I stated, listen, Allen is the expert on this topic, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in right now. Allen, first and foremost, thank you so much for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction. How are you?
Benji, I'm outstanding. Thank you very much for asking.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we are very much looking forward to this, and it's such a great message we really all need to hear. But before we go into that, let's hold off slightly, okay? Let's build that temptation just a bit more. Allen, tell our listening audience a little bit about yourself.
Sure, Benji. Yeah, I grew up in the inner cities of Philadelphia, from a modest family, or I'd say even poor, and probably the roughest areas of Philly. But the reality was my mother saw a vision that wasn't the place for us and got us out of there. Moved to South Georgia, didn't like that in the 70s, so I joined the military. That was my escape. And in the military is when I really learned a lot about the system. I learned all about, how to be focused and get involved in what's going on around me. So I was able to go in as an enlisted sailor and leave as a commissioned officer. And from that, from those lessons that I learned in the military, I was able to take that knowledge and turn it into a multi-million-dollar organization right now that I run currently today.
Fantastic. I mean, listen, the American dream right there, right? I mean, what an amazing message, and I'm sure an equally amazing journey. Let's jump right into the book. The System Is Unforgiving. Play by the rules and win. Tell us a little bit about the narrative.
So, as I mentioned, when I was in the military, I realized I walked in with a chip on my shoulder, thinking that the world was against me and things that I was doing wasn't fair, wasn't right, and there was a lot of feelings and emotions and all that. And I had someone sit me aside and just kind of put me on the straight and narrow by telling me that there was a system in place that had been in place for over 200 and something years, and that I, in my little attitude, would not change it. So it was either get with the system, get with the program, or the system is going to spit you out and leave you standing there with nothing. So it intrigued me enough to want to know what that system was about. So I sit back and looked around and saw people that were being promoted and people that were not being promoted. And so I kind of focused on what were the people doing that were promoted, and they were following a process. They were doing all the things that the organization wanted you to do in order to get promoted. So I jumped on that bandwagon. Within 7 years, I went from a junior E5 to being commissioned as an officer, which is almost impossible to do. It's something that's not done regularly, and only just a small percentage of military people are able to do that. But I learned something from that to know that playing by the rules, understanding the game, understanding the system, most importantly, you can achieve that. So when I retired, I tried it again, and I went into the federal government, became a GS-15 in about 20 months, which is unheard of again. Out in industry, became a director of operations for a technology firm using these same processes, and again, successful in doing that in a record time. So, using that knowledge, decided to start my own business, going back into the war chest, using the same principles and the same ideas and the same systems that I was able to take just an idea and turn it into now an organization where I have over 100 people nationwide in a company located here in San Diego, and we're doing great things. And today we have companies coming to us wanting us to be a part of their team just because of understanding the system and understand how everything is done. So I think that's what it's all about, and that's how you get from A to Z.
Thank you so much for that, Allen. Listen, this is one of the questions that I had on the docket. I was going to bring it up later on, but listen, my viewers are going to be upset with me if I don't hurry up and get to this question right now. So you talk about this system and you talk about the rules, and at first I thought that those two kind of went hand in hand, right? That the system is following the rules and the guidelines laid out. But then I think you had made a comment that almost kind of differentiated the two. So, Allen, without giving too much